Hello, I'm Cada, the creator of Cada Paso. This podcast explores the life of individuals who may not be famous, but that are making a significant difference in their community. We are here to show that there is wisdom and inspiration all around us in the stories of those who quietly impact the world. Hello, everybody. Today I have a podcast that I decided to do because for selfish reason. I interviewed Robin. She's the founder of our Connected World. She has figured out to work from anywhere in the world, create a company, and stay profitable. So the reason I'm saying that is selfish because that's my dream, that I can be anywhere and do my work. So I wanted to discuss with her what she had done and her tactics and her learnings. So I hope this appeals to you and that you enjoy this interview with her. I learned a lot. And if you like this, please share with someone else. Thank you. Enjoy. Hi, Robin. Nice having you here. Thank you for reaching out. You actually reached out, and I thought your story is super interesting. So thank you.
Thanks for having me, Gabrielena.
Robin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Why, what do you do and who are you? 2 minutes for the public.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm Robin. I am a mentor and an educator and the founder of Our Connected World. What I do is I help people around the world with their travel, language, and online working dreams to make sure that becomes a reality and so that they can explore the beautiful cultures and the beautiful places and meet the amazing people that are all around this globe.
Nice. Well, that's amazing. So what led you to do this? Like and find create this company, Connected World.
So I think COVID had a big part of it because it was the first time in my life where I had to stop from traveling. I slowed down so much compared to most of my life. And I actually started with a podcast, having people I was missing, talking to strangers when you travel or meeting people. And I started with a podcast, having guests talking about their crazy projects around the world, and then teaching people languages, Spanish and Italian more specifically. And from there, it kind of escalated, I guess. I had the time during COVID to really think about it. I noticed the need from more and more people, also with a lot of shift to remote work and online work, and realizing that it's very important to spend time the way you want, the way having that flexibility. And thanks to kind of also my background in marketing, my own journey as an entrepreneur, I shifted from only languages and creating a podcast to actually becoming a mentor and educating people also on online work.
So now that COVID is over in a way, are you traveling again like you used to? Because this is part of what you do. Like you do your work, but while you're traveling, correct?
Yes, that's correct. I slowed down in a way, as in I was moving way more often earlier. Now I have a base here in Canada, but I still travel like monthly. And that's kind of the beauty of it, like just having the flexibility of working from anywhere. I still don't see, like, even after all these years, I feel like you always have phases where like you're more heavily traveling and moving around to like you start to kind of settle slightly. But as a travel lover, like I cannot imagine to like not travel this often, right? I think it's just phases of life where you travel maybe in a different capacity. So I don't have to have a storage. I can leave my stuff here, but I always have a trip planned at some point. Like I can't imagine not traveling.
How do you decide to transition from psychology to travel and marketing? That
That's a good question because it's true. So my educational background and my academic background is in psychology and social policy and innovation. And I always tell people, like, especially younger people, I find like there's this pressure of like completely knowing absolutely what you want to do in life And especially in the early 20s, there's almost like a societal pressure that you gotta have it all figured out. I think society is shifting a lot from it. Luckily, when I was younger, I always like I could never think, 10 years ahead. It's kind of a thing I have. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but so far it's worked out well for me because I could always focus on what I wanted in the moment. And my career in general has not been an A to B kind of situation. And I think that's actually what makes me and my skills in a way special. And that's why I always invite people to create their path and not having to worry about, that, I don't know, you decide to study XYZ, or you have a first job in, I don't know, accounting, and maybe later on you want to pivot your career, you want to pivot even your life in general, like geographically speaking, for example, to not worry about it. That these kind of decisions, they just add to your story, but they're not going to be things that are set in stone and you can't change. And like you got to be stuck with it forever, right? So in my case, it's a good example. I started with psychology. I would do it all over again. I love it. I'm a bit of a brain nerd. I think psychology is everywhere. But then throughout my different career, working holiday, different career paths, it just led me to work more and more with people and slowly going into business development. And then eventually marketing caught my attention. And I worked in marketing, corporate marketing for like 6 years. So again, you never know where life leads you.
Yeah.
And I think I ended up there because of also, my random in a way, if you look at this like in a way random work experiences I've collected around the world.
Well, and I guess a lot of what you learn in psychology, you use in marketing as well, and in
Of course, yeah.
mentoring, working with people. So it's pretty much you're identifying your transferable skills from one place to another, and from one of your, not from one place to another, but from one career to another career and to another career. So, which is great.
That's right. And I think like the main thing for me is like I do enjoy, like I do really like marketing and I do really like travel and psychology. And I found when you start building your business, there's obviously always that kind of, not only your values come into play in your company, but also of course your skills and in a way what you enjoy doing, because you're not going to build a company and then like if you hate, I don't know, for example, accounting. If I cannot even imagine, but like if I was doing that just because it brings good money, I would not be able to have that company for longer than even like 3 weeks because I'm not going to enjoy it, right? So it's a combination. I always call it, it's a bit of an art and science in that sense, right? A bit your skills, but also you need to actually enjoy it. So I've been lucky enough that I was able to combine everything within my company.
Yeah, actually, last year I took a personal coach, not a personal, a business coach. And one of the
Mhm.
things that I like about the way the coaching sessions were held is that the first few one is about identifying your values, your not only your skills, but your values, so that whatever business you start, it is aligned with those values. So it's a recipe for success.
It
Um,
absolutely is. Yeah. It's such a roller coaster of a journey, entrepreneurship, as you know. And I think the moment you have a very challenging phase, because it's an up and down, especially when you're starting. But generally, even when you're growing, there's pivoting moments where something is going to be more of an obstacle. And just going back to that why, so going back to those values is something that is definitely needed. The foundational work is so important as an entrepreneur.
and what kind of life you want to live? Like in your
Exactly.
case, that you are kind of an you like a nomad lifestyle, like you're traveling. A restaurant wouldn't be for you, I assume,
Mm,
because it will.
exactly. No, I cannot imagine being in a 9 to 5, having to go to the office every day. I think that's way gone, way in the past after 5 years of
Yeah, but
fully remote.
even something, even a business that makes you stay in one place wouldn't be for you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I think it also comes back to a bit my international background, right? I love to work internationally because I love to, chat and help people no matter where they are. And
Mm.
so in a way it was, again, it's that foundational work where you're like, okay, what kind of lifestyle you want, what kind of impact you want to have. And those questions are so important because of course you're going to change and the company and yourself will evolve with the time, but that foundational work, like I've noticed in like 2 years of business, like that's always been there, and that's always what kind of grounds me in the moments of more uncertainty.
Yeah. Nice. Why have you chosen sort of this lifestyle of going from places to places?
The funny thing is, like, I can't really like fully think, okay, this is the one day this happened, right? I think my story is a bit different in the sense that since I was younger, I moved with my family. So I was born in a city in Italy, in Bolzano, but then I moved within Italy. And then I spent a couple of years abroad as well when I was a teenager, which is when I actually learned English. And I think because of that, it kind of like bloomed the already adventurous spirit I had. Like I've always been a kid who was reading books about like any sorts of traveling, like whether it was fictional or not, like time travel, or it was just exploring. I've always been drawn to it. I've always been drawn to languages. So I think I already had a bit of it. But because of that life I was living and also the opportunity to have a taste of being abroad for like this couple of years when I was younger, I think that just like kind of made everything move. And then after going back to Italy, I realized I think that was a very important moment because when I was abroad, you're younger. I was missing my country, obviously. But then I went back to Italy, and that's when I realized, wait a second, I actually miss the internationality. And I was like, I need to study abroad. And so since I'm 18 years old, I've been basically living abroad outside of Italy. And then you meet people, and then you get more ideas, and then you realize there's more to see. And so I think it just kind of escalated from there.
So, what unexpected lessons have you learned from living abroad?
I think like of course, living abroad, and moving in a way often is you start from zero every time. And I think there's two main things that come to mind when I look back at, all of my moves and so on. And the first one is that people really make a home. Like I've been so lucky, of course. I don't know if your vibe attracts your tribe or what it is, but I've been lucky enough that I think between, becoming more adaptable because I moved so often and because I speak also more languages, I can connect with more people. But I think it's also like it just happened. I met amazing people. And when people say where you're from, of course, I'm Italian, but there's also, I feel, a piece of me a bit everywhere I've lived because of the memories and the people. And I'm lucky enough to still have some of these friendships as distant friendships as well. And so sometimes I just, you can miss your country, but it's crazy how you can, in a way, feel at home, even if it's not necessarily your original home. And the second related lesson is how you can be a foreigner in your own country.
Oh, totally.
Um, you may like feel the same, and it's something that a lot of people who travel more, or even people who travel for like more long term, let's say like they backpack for 6 months, or maybe they're on the road for 6 months and then they come back. There is a phase where you need to adapt again to your own country, and I think this is the beauty. Like I find it's the beautiful side of travel, which is um, it literally changes you from like there's actually research around it that there's like your brain changes, right? Because you're exposed to so many new experiences,
Yeah.
many new perspectives. You just are unable to see the reality and the world the exact same way as you when you left. And so you will see even your own home in different eyes. Sometimes it's, oh wow, I forgot how beautiful this is, like you don't realize the beauty. And some other times it can also be, wow, like I can't believe, I don't know, maybe people think this way, or like this is how they do it, right? And it's a curse and a blessing at the same time. I find it's the change within travel is beautiful, and this is kind of two big learnings for sure that I carry all the time with me.
Don't go anywhere. We're coming back. For now, listen to our sponsor. This episode is sponsored by Arco Homes, experts in the design and construction of premium homes tailored to your dreams. Follow them on Instagram and LinkedIn at Arco Homes or their website at www.thearcohomes.com. So I have a question. It's a little bit selfish because it's something that I'm trying to do better.
Okay.
How do you balance productivity and leisure when you're traveling? When you're not like, you go everywhere in the world and you still need to work.
Yeah, like work and travel. That's a very, very big topic, I think, for anybody who's a remote worker and like trying to combine work and travel, whether self-employed or not, right? There's slightly differences. If you're employed, you probably have a bit stricter schedules and because the meetings are dependent from your team and so on. If you're self-employed, I think you have a bit of more of a window of flexibility that you can make your own schedule. But one thing is, and luckily it's something that grew on me also like during my career, I'm a big freak for like time management and organization. I love any sort of software that can help me with that. A big, big thing that it sounds so simple and it's really not like groundbreaking idea, but it helps so much. And I know it has also helped a lot of my students and clients putting blockers. Like my calendar is not just I'm meeting, a client or I have, like an interview or something. It's literally sometimes also like, okay, this is I need to do some work here. This is my self-care time. And like I got to the point where I don't even necessarily need to put the blocker anymore because I'm like, I got in a way I practice enough where I'm like, I know now I need a break and I need to do this. And I can kind of organize my day. But for the longest time, I literally had reminders in my calendar to like, this is what's happening now, and for my own personal balance as well. And I think the other thing is that really helps, besides obviously time management and trying to help yourself with to-do list, software, project management softwares and calendars, is really focusing also on what helps you stay focused. So I have a bit of a squirrel brain, like squirrels. I don't have ADHD, but may as well sometimes because I get very, very like distracted, too many ideas and this and that. And so it's something that comes obviously from also trying different things. But for me, one thing that I know doesn't work is I need to move around and I need every even like 30, 40 minutes I need to maybe take a walk. I need to, reassess. And everybody's different. This is something that works for me. Doing a bit of a workout in the morning, having another break, and yeah.
I go for walks. Yeah. So, but also, how about, do you have any tips about your equipment? Because I think when I'm in my home, in my office, I have everything. I have my big screen, I have, my keyboard, I have all the things that I love and help me do better my job. But when I travel, I have to leave a few of the things behind. So how do you adjust? Do you have any tips in regards to equipment or?
Yeah, I think like again, everybody's a bit different. I'm lucky enough that working from the laptop for me is enough. Like what I do is I have a wireless mouse that is easy to bring everywhere because that is sometimes like even on the wrist is a bit hard to use only the laptop mouse. But the cool thing is that nowadays like technology got crazy. There's like one thing if you're somebody who needs multiple screens, there's screens like even on Amazon and so on where you can literally like put it on your laptop monitor and extend it, or put it like connected to your tablet and extend it. Two things, like if I know I'm on the road for longer, it's definitely the wireless mouse and a wireless keyboard. So that if, I usually bring my tablet, like I have like it's not mini tablet, but it's not even the biggest. It's obviously like lighter than my computer. So I usually just have tablet and wireless mouse and keyboard. And for me, it's enough. If I needed a monitor, I would just add like extension of the monitor. And the other thing is good audio, right? So in my case, I have like portable microphones, like mini wireless microphones, super easy to bring with you if you need to, for example, do interviews and you need a good audio. But the other thing is earbuds or headphones, headset, if that's something you prefer, just because sometimes you, especially if you're like working from cafes or from the road, sometimes it's harder to find that flow. And so kind of creating your space and then also having like audio wise, your own space
Yes.
can really help you stay in the zone,
Yeah.
I
Well, it
find.
sounds from that answer that maybe I just need to adjust and start working more. Like I also have my wireless here, but also learn not to work probably with my big screen. Like figure out how to adjust my, how do you say, my,
Like setup.
yeah, like understand that I have a different setup if I travel versus when I'm at
Yeah.
home.
And try those wireless like external monitors so that at least you have two. Because especially if you work with a lot of admin things, like it is handier to have like a
Yeah.
second monitor. And I personally don't have it, but I know a lot of people who have it and love it and find it like, it's good enough for, months at a time.
Okay, so what do you like the most about your job?
Oh, lots of things. I think like um the biggest reward in the field I am, which is mentoring and educating. I'm a big education promoter. I generally think that gives power to people and can really change lives to just have the knowledge about how to change your life, right? It's not just inspiring and motivating. It's also like this is how you can do it, and I think that's important for me. Like I love, especially when clients like in the first maybe month or two when they're working on their main blocker, whether it's self-limiting belief or a business idea or rebuilding their business, right? Moving abroad, right? Making changes geographically as well, not just career wise, finding a remote job. That like the reward of when they achieve it and like the clarity they get, those like light bulb moments, that like new light in their eyes, so to say, that they have from just realizing that they can do it and that they feel supported doing it. I think that's the biggest reward for me. It just makes me so happy, and it shows like there's like that practical change and the practical impact that I can have for other people's lives. And I think that's, priceless.
And what is the most challenging part?
I think the challenging part as an entrepreneur is uh, not getting in your head. I definitely have, a lot of mindfulness that I need to do myself. I know it's in a way my weakness. When you care a lot, especially about results and connecting, and I think in the online world, there's a bit of a saturation as well. And there's a lot of also skepticism around people who want to help others, because there's also a lot of people who are there to scam people and just there for the money basically, right? And so some like I definitely find it hard sometimes to having to separate yourself from your business in that way. And yeah, sometimes putting that business head on as a business owner and separating you, whether for example it's, I don't know, you launch something new and it didn't go as planned, and because it's your business you take that on you, like I am blah blah blah, right? And like I've had to really work on that because I care too much, I guess. And then I take it a lot on me. And my biggest shift has been to take a step back, not looking at it from I am, but more like this has happened. What can shift? Like, let's get the feedback around it. What can I shift? Why? Right? Like, basically changing the questions and changing those statements. So I think I've done so much personal work to be an entrepreneur. It's something that, at first seems like, oh, why would I need it, right? And then you're like, oh no, I need it
No,
because everybody has their weakness, and that's definitely mine.
I have been interviewing a few entrepreneurs, and this is what I hear a lot is you need to do a lot of learning about whatever product or service you are offering, but also about mindfulness, personal growth, and to stay grounded. So what is the biggest mistake you have made?
Ooh. Um, Talking about scammers online, I've definitely, my biggest mistake was not to follow my intuition. I was focusing so much on I need help that I wasn't I wasn't following, like my intuition was like, okay, this, person, I'm not gonna name things, but this person isn't the right one. I was just kind of buying their numbers, right? You can make this and you can, 10 times your, and I totally fell for it, which, like looking back, like I'm mad at myself, and like it took me a while to be less mad at myself because it's something that I know I could have avoided. And I think like that was my biggest mistake. But as everything, again, I had to go into that mindfulness and I was like, okay, what did I learn from it?
Yeah.
And I think it was one of my biggest learnings to be way more also analytical, and maybe even like prioritize my own needs for the business in a way that serves me better, instead of just kind of going after it. And this is also part of why I'm so adamant, or I'm a big advocate around people who just keep on like telling you like you're 10K overnight and this and that. And this is why I'm like always like, no, just find your path. Don't listen to these people. um that is that is not a good sign. Usually it's quite a red flag and I would run away from it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's if some lessons that I hear you saying here is connect with your intuition, like
Yeah,
listen to your guts, take a
definitely.
step back, breathe before you make a decision to really hear you. And then the other thing, there is not a quick path to entrepreneurship.
No.
Very few people actually make it from the get-go. For others, for the majority, it's work. You're required to do a lot of work to get to where you want.
Well said. No, and that's the thing, and that's why, in a way, like I knew that, and it's you get to a point sometimes when you really want to succeed that your thoughts may be fogged, as in you're starting to buy more things because you're so like, that's exactly what I want,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I need. And there's a big fine line between, well, of course you need support and finding the right support, to buying it just because they're putting numbers in front of it that are revenue related. Especially, I think those can be very misleading, very
But
misleading.
also, I mean, there is some insecurity in us when we try to find that thing that is going to solve. Sometimes we know the answer, we know the things that we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
We're just, we think somebody else is going to find the answer to those doubts we have. Instead of us doing the work ourselves, we try to find that answer externally. That
Yeah.
happened to me. I don't know if it,
Yeah, it happens to a lot of people, like copying somebody else's
yeah.
success. I recently actually posted about it. I think, like it's very out there, and it's been like that because that kind of industry, like the business coaching, let's call it industry, is not very regulated, right? A lot of those people, especially like, from previously, I think now people are more skeptical, but from earlier on, a lot of those people may not even have any actual business and marketing knowledge. And I think that's not correct. I think to like be there and teach people and then kind of be like, you should price your offers at 10K because that way, yes, you're going to get two clients and you get 20K months. That's what I mean, like kind of looking behind those numbers. Because sure, if you have two clients, 10K each, yes, you have 20K months, but what does that mean? Is that a sustainable model for the business? No, it isn't, right? Is that right? Like, is it right to charge that much, people, and so on?
Yeah. What are you afraid of?
In life or in business?
You choose.
I'll choose something that may differ, but well, I think in life is, in a way, monotony, like getting to a point
Hmm.
of stalling. I'm very big on learning and new, being exposed to new things. Like I find easily peace with myself, like with simple things. But I feel like, I don't know. I've always been, since I'm a kid, like I don't want to end up like, just sitting on a bench and that's all I do all day because I'm like not motivated, or I'm not, um how do you say, like excited about things
Yeah.
anymore. I don't know. That hitting that stall, I cannot see it happen, but I know that, as you get older, that may happen. And that's actually why I connected to my company's name. I tattooed it on myself because it's a motto that I want to have, until the end of days. And it's always to explore. So explore opportunity, explore the world, and then connect. So connect with myself, connect with others, connect with places and nature. And this is something that I always want to do because I know by doing that, I will always have that, fire in me, the sparkle in me, and not end up in that monotony, lifeless stall.
Have you read, watched, or done something recently that you can recommend to our listeners?
Well, this is fresh because I'm just finishing it right now. It's an amazing book. It's called In Between Two Kingdoms, and it's the story of a cancer survivor. I'm usually not big on like nonfiction. I'm more of a fiction book person because I like to escape reality unless I'm trying to learn about something. Um, but I think it's if you haven't read it already, like it's such a great book. I cannot pronounce the author's name, so I can happily send it to you so you can put in the show notes. But it's such a fresh perspective, I think, talking about, life and living. It's an amazing book because it really
Between
goes
two
in.
kings, you said.
Hmm?
Between two kings.
In
What?
between two kingdoms.
In between two kingdoms. Okay, I'll put it in
Yeah,
the show.
and it's basically the kingdom of the dead and the kingdom of the alive, right? Because she's a cancer survivor. And
Wow.
so going back to living after you've dealt with death for so long, it sounds like but it's well written. It touches you, but like in a way that is not depressing. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
It actually, I think the messaging goes way deeper than like feeling bad about it. It's like it's really that journey to how do I live again? And I think it's beautiful. And she's amazing. She's an amazing author. Very, very touching story.
Well, so I am a big, I love traveling. Luckily, I hate airports and airplanes. So that's why I'm not traveling around the world every week, because otherwise I will be. But it's it's very nice to speak with someone like you who have similar passions and have been trying to balance, continue moving from one place to another and creating your own business and doing it from everywhere in the world. I normally try to end my interviews with a phrase of something my father used to say. And the one I'm gonna use today is the one a person read the day my it's a poem somebody read the day my father passed away. And I'm
Mhm.
gonna say in Spanish and then I say it in English. So in Spanish is muere lentamente el que no viaja, quien no lee, quien no escucha música. So a person dies slowly when they don't travel, read, or listen to music. And I thought of that based on the discussion we had today. Is there a phrase that you connect with?
Wow. I love that quote. I have a lot of quotes. I'm a big quote person. But I guess like what a phrase that I personally use, like, with clients and so on, is like live a life that sets your soul on fire. And
Yeah.
that's what I would say. And um I I don't have it right now, so I can't go by memory, but like it's also about, speak up, do the thing. Doesn't matter. You're 20, 30, 40, doesn't matter. Life is one. Just
Yeah.
rebel up against what people, think you should do, and really just follow that fire, follow that inner compass. And I think that's what matters because it's about being happy and fulfilled in life.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you. I hope I can live a life of traveling around the world and doing my work wherever I am. So thank you so much. And good luck with
Thank you for
everything.
having me. It was a
Also, sorry,
pleasure.
where can people find you?
Oh yeah, well they can find me pretty active on Instagram at Our Connected World.
Huh?
Always happy to chat with people on the DMs, and otherwise I have a website as well, which is ourconnectedworld.ca.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Bye, Robin.
Thank you. Bye.
This podcast has been edited and produced by Bitmark. a marketing agency specialized in digital content. You can find them on social media as @VidMark.